On the Fringe with Dan radio style, hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. We've got a very, very interesting set of circumstances in front of us. A lot has transpired about these two distinct situations that seem to be very tied together. Certainly have some fun coincidences for sure. Also, we've got a lot of information that we're going to try to get through. A lot of crazy stuff happened over the past couple days, especially stuff that would seem terrorist-oriented. So we've got a lot happening. There seems to be a direct attack happening on the United States. And, it's, well, thank God we've got Trump coming soon. But how long we got to wait, we're going to ultimately see. I wanted to start off with something kind of fun. Just, I don't know, cute. A brand new day or a happy new day or happy new year. Just a beautiful, fun little musical thing here. Check this out. It may not seem like it, but it is. We're heading in the direction that we want. We're heading in the direction that's going to change this world forever. And I'm glad to be a part of it with you guys, and I'm glad that you guys are a part of it with me. I couldn't do it without you. That is for sure. Appreciate the heck out of you guys. I wanted to play a couple minutes of this solar storm stuff that happened. Our weakening magnetic field is certainly problematic. Also, they bring up the southern anomaly, and we mentioned that, I believe, yesterday. So just wanted to do a quick cover. Give my boy some love over there at Suspicious Observers on YouTube. He is phenomenal. I've been following this dude for a long time. He does about a 3-minute video every single day. This dude's hardcore, and he gets it out like 4 in the morning or something. Pretty crazy. Needless to say, check it out.
Good morning, folks. Today we're going over the solar storm from yesterday. Went way beyond expectations. We'll also hit a key geodynamo characteristic leading to magnetic pole reversals and check out the drought look as well. But we are starting, as always, with the last 24 hours on our star, where it was a calm day. No significant solar flares or eruptions. The sun was content with what it had already sent our way. We do have sunspots, plasma filaments, and large coronal holes, but let's begin the space weather analysis with the solar wind, where it appears that what we actually had was one medium shock wave and 2 or 3 smaller shock waves that followed. The latest impacts triggered a level 4 geomagnetic storm condition yesterday. Folks, level 3 was the peak forecast, and the impacts were actually not quite as powerful as the forecast suggested. So how did we get to a level 4 event off of this solar storm? How did we get auroral displays visible from Mexico? Earth's weakening magnetic field is the answer. The ongoing magnetic pole shift, leaving Earth more and more vulnerable to smaller and smaller solar events. It's the drum we have been beating non-stop for 2 years. Quick look at the sunspots here. Obviously watching for more flares and CMEs, but a bit of development would be needed, so equal focus goes to the plasma filaments, which can be seen in the chromosphere view, watching these as well for eruptive behavior, and of course, we're also on the large dark coronal holes. Their solar wind is likely to arrive tomorrow or Saturday. It's another chance for geomagnetic activity. Up next, we're going to the drought look. Current drought map.
Yeah, the drought. We don't need to get into it, but yeah, the drought. Just the white areas are not so much drought. The yellow areas, I think, are sort of drought. Anyway, we're got some weird weather going on, and we've also got a super cold storm that's coming through. Cold snap, whatever. It's going to be an Arctic blast, whatever the hell they're calling it these days. But it's going to be a mess. Also, just to remind you guys, too, because we're talking about solar activity showing up Friday or Saturday, I will be doing Billy Joel on Friday, the Friday music show. Hopefully you guys join. I'm finishing off with, I think, my favorite Billy Joel song. It's kind of a weird song. I'm going to give a small hint. It's a 3-part song. Not as well known as most of his works. Many of you might. There are those of you that actually do follow Billy Joel. For those of you that don't, you'll be surprised. It's a very bitchin' song. And again, all the other standard wonderful songs. Billy Joel's done so many great songs over the years. He's got like an older greatest hits and a newer greatest hits. And so we'll kind of spread it out and cover a bunch of it. So I hope you guys will be a part of the community and be a part of the show. It should be a lot of fun. All that said, we're going to get into, more of this nonsense. Scottie Pippen has come out, and he says, let the games begin at Elon Musk. And, of course, got a picture of Pepe and Scottie Pippen hanging out. Pepe and Pippen, that's kind of funny, I guess, if you think of it. I don't know if he was thinking the same thing, but certainly lots of fun on that one, huh? We've got, this is going to kind of trip you out a little bit. Yeah, okay, so this gets into how they learned how to control us, not just via, MK Ultra and stuff like that, but how they even fine-tuned this down to the color they choose to emanate from our computer screens. Yeah, they've been doing all this stuff intentionally against us for a long time. Folks, we're finally rounding the corner and making a difference, but they've been doing so much bad stuff for us and then telling us everything's okay, of course, for a very long time. It's time we all wake up from the lies we've been told.
The reason that all your computer screens are blue lit, the reason none of them are red lit, the reason none of them pay attention to circadian biology is because that original technology was developed in a government program that Bobby Kennedy knows about, and I happen to know about because I went to medical school at LSU. For those of you who've never heard about Operation Paperclip, you think it's all conspiracy theory. So at Tulane Neurology and Tulane Neurosurgery in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, the CIA started a program there where they would do all these crazy things to monkeys. The CIA wanted to see how they could control things utilizing different things like drugs and things like that. Where the neurosurgeons got involved, which is my clade, we would drill tops of the heads off, put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? So he checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors. Then the CIA took it to the next level. They said, well, since this is electromagnetic radiation, what if we did it through light through screens? And it turns out you can. And that's the reason why all your computer screens have the frequencies they have. So why is this all important? Well, the person that set this meeting up between me and Bobby is the patent attorney that made sure that Google and Meta have those things so they can control the things that we all do. Where did the original idea come from that started off in MK Ultra with the CIA? You're going to be surprised when you hear this. It came from the mafia in Las Vegas. They wanted to build a new city in a desert. They enclosed it all, blacked out the windows, invented slot machines that were blue lit. And they found out that they didn't have to take a gun, stick it in your face to steal your money. Then they even got smart. They said, let's give people free alcohol while they're doing that. And they found out they got the money quicker. And that's when the CIA got the idea to start this program. That's really how it started.
Google, Meta, and TikTok. So for all the people that are like, I got nothing to hide. Well, guess what? They're also manipulating you. Again, you like it, don't like it. A lot of people are just like, Dan, you're always just picking on my favorite software platforms. Yeah, because your favorite software platforms are literally trying to control your life. And in many cases, doing a phenomenal job at it. So yes, we have a bit of a mess going on. They knew this stuff was happening. By the way, you can get blue blockers in your glasses. It's one of the things that you can have done is blocking the blue light. I have it on mine. I have it on all my glasses for that matter. Even my sunglasses have it. So it is something you can deal with, that's for sure. All right, so we're not quite there yet, but Louisiana governor is going to attend the Sugar Bowl. They suspended this one day or postponed it one day. A lot of interesting thought processes going on around why. Now, I mean, we could speculate all day long. Odds are there was some additional security threats. That's probably what we're coming to find out. Again, what's really going on behind the scenes? They're obviously not telling us. There's a lot of people that are under the impression that they should be forthcoming with this information. I agree and disagree. I don't know. It depends on the information, but what I will say for sure is people, or sheeple, which is a majority of the population, hands down, are easy to excite, easy to take advantage of once they're in that excitable state, and very easy to cause panic by bringing forth information like this. Again, should everybody know? I don't think so. I think anybody that can kind of pay attention and read between the lines like us, we're sort of figuring it out without being told. But I think it would cause way more panic if actually we knew what was really happening right now. So again, why we've kind of come from the keep your head on a swivel. If you see something, say something. That's where we're at right now. And we know stuff's happening right now. What exactly it is, I don't know. I'm okay being 80% sure about what's going on right now. It's close enough for all intents and purposes, but we are going through a major thing. Now, if this should happen, today, this game. It's supposed to start 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, which is still just shy of 2 hours from where I'm sitting right now. I don't know if I want to watch the game. I don't particularly give a crap about either of these college teams. I'm not really big into college football all that much, which is actually kind of messed up because it's way more fun to watch than professional, that's for sure. But, it is what it is. Not a big sports fan in general. Used to play. Don't really care about the games. They're a bunch of crap. Kennedy is funny as hell. First off, dude, you look like a hippie with that super long hair there, buddy. But I love it. And his comments are just hysterically funny. This NBC reporter, I don't think actually understood how freaking significantly funny this comment was. Everybody else in the room did, which kind of goes to show you how stupid MSNBC is, or NBC. Check it out.
Can I say something right quick? Tell me who you're with.
WDSU.
WDSU. Okay, and CBS.
The NBC's over here on the right.
Oh, that's an unusual position.
I don't get it.
You wouldn't. Look.
I don't get it. You wouldn't. They said NBC over here on the right, which means he was meaning politically. For those of you that didn't get it, but that was damn funny. Damn funny. All right, a bit troubling. Chinese stocks are suffering the worst start to the year since 2016 as the Trump effect looms. Currently, our stock market finished reasonably strong. We had some bullshit job numbers that came out that were reasonably strong, yada, yada, yada. Right now, the price of gold and silver is actually down a teeny bit, which is awesome news. Stocks are at a decent place right now. But one of the things that's going to happen with these trade wars is we're going to see some difficulties on the stock market. Just going to say it's coming. Chinese stocks are worried because they've got an $18 trillion economy, but a lot of it depends on their trade surplus that they've got against everybody. And Trump's going to kind of really start to squish it bad. China is not in a good place because of how things are coming, and Trump is way, way too strong at working through these problems. And so we will see progress, but I'm still saying there's going to be some bumps in the night. We know inflation is extremely high right now. We know it's taking a bite out of your dollar every single day. In the stock market, it's just a matter of time before some adjustment occurs. It depends who you ask right now. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, maybe it won't happen. All right, I just say, if it does, you're going to be bummed. If it doesn't, we'll see. I still, like they've said in the Q post, gold will take down the Fed. I just think gold and silver right now are one of the safest bets. They're protecting your wealth. I've got a great friend of the channel who doesn't believe all the crazy crap I talk about, but what they do, and they do it very well, is they handle getting you out of a 401k or an IRA that is based in tax and stocks. They get you out of that tax-free, penalty-free. Now, here's the coolest part, I think. Well, a couple cool parts, but the coolest part, hands down, is up to 10% of the face value of your 401k or your IRA. They're going to give you free silver. Up to 10%. Get up to 10% instant match in free silver. That means if you got a $100,000 policy that you're sitting on right now, or $100,000 is balance right now, that means you're going to get $10,000, up to 10 grand of free silver. 10 grand in free silver, which with the prices reducing a teeny bit right now means it's even more silver that you're actually going to get. That's the beautiful part about it. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Take advantage of my A-plus rated Better Business Bureau, triple A rated by the Business Consumer Alliance, earned over 6,000 five-star consumer ratings. 2024 best customer service, and hands down, their customer service is so good. I'm also a customer. I've bought precious metals from these guys. Amazing. I love them. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Let my great friends at Goldco get you out of that system. Tax-free, penalty-free, and quickly. Yes, they can do all of those things. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. The other kind of cool thing, you put in these 4 data points. It doesn't even matter where you do it. I've been told it doesn't matter where you put the information in. If you qualify, you're also going to get that free Ronald Reagan collector's coin, which is this. You don't have to get to this screen, though. You just fill out the data points. If you have a qualifying 401k or IRA, they will send this to you free. Now, one of the things, when you put in the data points, and it's one of the key things about this little gift, they want to get in touch with you. They want to talk with you, of course. Just want to get some information, be able to send this to you. So they're going to be trying to reach out to you pretty quickly after you submit this data. So once you submit the data, kind of be waiting for a phone call or expecting one, because it will be coming. And once you get that confirmation, they're going to mail that to you. They're going to get your wealth protection kit to you, and you are going to be off to the races and able to actually make some tough decisions. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. And believe us, they're trying. All right, New Orleans police. We got New Orleans. We've got... what are the other ones? We got New Orleans. We got the other one. Shoot, man, I'm drawing a blank. There's so many of them, right? We got a whole bunch of crap going on, and this is insanity. So, yeah, we'll just start getting into it first. So New Orleans police have reviewed the surveillance video that appears to show several people had actually planted potential explosive devices along the vehicle attack route. It looks like there's multiple people involved. Now, there's a lot of feds that are trying to come out saying, we don't see any connection between any of these things. The Vegas thing with Trump, that was the other one. And what's going on in New Orleans, there's definitely a connection. We'll get there. Also, the way the rentals were done, definitely a connection. We'll get there. A lot of connections have happened. And now we're finding out, it seems as though they planted additional explosives along the parade route or along the driving routes that this guy was on. Really messed up stuff. This is very strange.
The big headline out of the press conference was, of course, when the FBI special agent in charge said she did not believe the suspect was acting alone. Aaron, now you're learning a little bit more as to why.
They didn't say why at the press conference, but law enforcement sources told ABC News that a number of people are seen on surveillance camera planting what appear to be the explosive devices, potential explosive devices, in advance of the vehicle ramming attack. That gives authorities reason to believe that this suspect did not act alone. We don't know a precise number of individuals who were seen, but we're told multiple people were seen on surveillance images appearing to plant what could be explosive devices in advance of the attack. The priority now is identifying those people, tracking them down, and taking them into custody.
The big headline out of the press conference.
Yeah, so craziness going on. Again, this just seems to get weirder and weirder. There's an Airbnb where the suspect who allegedly drove into a crowd at the New York celebration in New Orleans was apparently where he was staying. Yeah, it burned down. He burned it down. He burned down the Airbnb. First off, if you're someone that owns an Airbnb and you're renting it out and then this happens, oh man, I hope you're insured. Newsweek reached out. They didn't get any answers. NOLA.com reported that people were evacuated from the St. Roch area in New Orleans Wednesday morning after a fire broke out in the Airbnb. The site reported that law enforcement officials as well as bomb squad detectives were called to 1329 Mandeville Street. The Airbnb is about a mile and a half from where the attack took place. So there's another interesting piece of information. A lot of potential sleeper cells are in this country right now. Pretty good piece of work done here, and Kaylee McInerney, whatever the hell it is, she is talking with this gentleman, and they've got some strong theories going on for what's happening and why this is happening, and it's probably not necessarily going to get better before it gets before it gets worse. It's kind of messed up. Anyway, check it out.
Yes, there's two things going on. One, you have ISIS, which is on the run. Only about 1,700 to 1,900 fighters still remaining there in Syria, taking heavy hits from HTS as well as for the Syrian Democrat forces. They're being squeezed by CTS in Iraq as well as for American soft forces. And their recruitment efforts have dwindled massively. Now you've got Iran. Iran has been hit and pinched on all areas. They're no longer around the Syria area. Hassan Nasrallah of Lebanon has now been eliminated by the IDF. Sinwar of Hamas has been obliterated and killed by IDF, and now you have where they're going to be refocusing, reconcentrating all of their efforts and resources. We know we have President Trump coming in. They want to cause fear. They want to cause panic. But I think that what we're seeing as well is over 4+ years, we've had millions of people cross our borders. We know there's sleeper cells in our area. We know they're easily activated. And I think that what you're seeing now is a desperation for both ISIS and Iran to refocus and reconstitute its efforts to try and potentially go after targets here in the U.S.
You know, all of that makes a ton of sense. And we know there's a terrorist connection here. And, you know, if you would have asked me this morning, I would say it's fairly obvious. There were IEDs in the area The ISIS flag was very visible. It was right there on the back of his truck. And look, I understand you want to be cautious with information. I get that. I was press secretary during COVID-19. You have to be cautious. But why wasn't the FBI cautious in saying this? I want to play this from this morning. They were very clear that they could rule one thing out at 6 a.m. local time.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not.
Why say that categorically when you had to correct yourself about an hour or so later?
Well, again, I can't wait to get confirmed Pete Hegseth, the SecDef, Kash Patel there in the FBI, and Tulsi Gabbard at ODNI. That's going to clean up a lot of this mess, because I can tell you this is absolutely a terrorist attack, and probably one of many. I wouldn't be surprised either if the symbolism of the Tesla truck blowing up in front of the Trump Tower wasn't somehow tied in on this as a way to try and intimidate and or threat President Trump. So what I would say is this: we need to determine whether or not this individual, bin Jabbar, did in fact go into Mexico 2 days ago. What that could tell us is that there's potentially a joint operational center of sorts with ISIS or with other terrorist factions in Mexico who are commanding and giving activation orders. And so we need to start thinking about where the ties are. We need to start looking at how they were activated in extremism as become a prevalent manner, and then also what the motive was behind this. But I can tell you, this was absolutely a terrorist attack, and to rule that out by the FBI is foolish.
Yeah, and we know that that truck at one point back in November was in the Eagle Pass area. It changed hands. We don't know much about Jabbar's movements yet. We know he's from Texas. We'll follow those. Absolutely key to this. I want to play a witness statement. This is an 18-year-old who was there last night. It is chilling, and if you have children, you may want to move them out of the room right now because this is hard to hear. Listen to this.
The truck hits the corner and comes barreling through people, throwing people like a movie scene, like real life, throwing people into the air, they falling under the car, all that. A good friend of mine actually passed away from getting hit by it. Moving people out of the way to try to find her. I'm saying, nah, like, where is she? And I turn my head, and it's her in the street, just leaking blood, and I knew. The aftermath was really what got me, like, bodies all up and down the street, everybody screaming and hollering.
Congressman, how does someone who served in the Army for a decade, honorably discharged, go from that to killing 15 people, including that young man's friend?
Well, first, my thoughts and prayers and the condolences to the 15 families who are having to hear this horrible news to start out the new year. A lot of times these individuals become radicalized over a period of time through various online sites, through going in and thinking that what they had done, or looking at Afghanistan, or looking at other sympathetic means. I think that's where we need to be digging into, one, the forensics of what he was doing in his computer and online manner. Was this something the FBI was already tracking? Was he already on a watch list? But what we know is this. You know as well as I do, Kaylee, over 4 years, we've had hundreds and hundreds who have been caught who are known terrorist outliers. We know that that's only the ones that were caught, not the thousands who've gotten through. And that's why President Trump is so big on securing our borders and guaranteeing the safety and security and increase in national security. That's why Michael Waltz, the National Security Advisor, has been warning about the open borders, Iran, ISIS, the ties that we have with China, Russia, and North Korea. This is important for us to focus on, but we have to start understanding how the movement of terrorist organizations and sleeper cells are operating in the United States.
Without a doubt, Congressman, and boy, that new administration can't come soon enough. Thank you very much.
Yeah, craziness going on out there. And by the way, for any of you guys that maybe want to see a reasonably good movie, I actually think it's an excellent movie. I've just recently watched it, and I started on the second one. I didn't realize there was a first one. I mean, it was implied, but I didn't know I could find it. But it's called Sicario, and it's on Prime. And the first one, highly recommend it, but it really gets into the cartels and the way our government can and does sort of mess with them, and it kind of goes both ways. So there is some stuff that's going on the Mexico side of the border. Again, I feel like that movie kind of gets into some of that. That is a really good movie. Really, really good movie. Rep. Clay Higgins says, buckle up. We can only assume what exactly that means, but I'm sure buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to get pretty crazy, and I think a lot of us realize that. New Orleans attack suspect discussed plans to kill his family and join ISIS in chilling recordings. So far what we know, a series of videos, the suspect in the deadly New Year's attack in New Orleans discussed planning to kill his family and having dreams that helped inspire him to join ISIS, according to multiple officials briefed on the investigation. This is Shamsud Din Jabbar, the 42-year-old man who police suspect drove a pickup truck into the crowd. Killed 15, of course. Jabbar made reference in the videos to his divorce and how he had his first plan to gather his family for a celebration with the intention of killing them. Two officials who have been briefed on the recording said, but Jabbar said in the videos that he changed his plans and joined ISIS and referenced several dreams that he had about why he should be joining the terrorist group. According to officials, videos which CNN has not reviewed appear to have been recorded while he was driving at night. The official said the timing's unclear, but many are suspicious that it might have been as he was heading towards New Orleans from Texas, which is not too terribly far a drive. Now, we do have some more on what happened with the attack in Vegas. We're going to get into that here, and then we're going to these sort of connect back together here in a second. But 1 dead, 7 injured in the Tesla Cybertruck explosion near Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. The 1 dead is the actual driver. He was apparently inside the car when the detonation occurred. Whether he detonated it or it was detonated outside of his control, not sure. They're saying he detonated is what it looks like, but all said. The driver of the Cyber Tesla truck was killed in the incident. Authorities are currently investigating the explosion, considering it a potential act of terror. In a statement on X, Tesla CEO Elon Musk stated, "The whole Tesla senior team is investigating this matter right now. We'll post more information as soon as we learn anything." Now, they did eventually post that, and we will get there. The cyber was not any sort of fault of the Cybertruck, which was Musk's main concern. Did something happen to our truck that caused it to just explode on its own? And I will say, what was funny is somebody that I kind of follow that just says stupid stuff all the time. They're like, yep, truck just blowing up on its own. Totally could happen. And I'm like, well, there you go. That's what stupid people say. But according to an official they briefed on the investigation, the Cybertruck was carrying fireworks-style mortars. And investigators are now focused on understanding the motive behind it. It also had propane tanks and some other stuff. Let's see. It's probably worth... we don't need to play this. No. We got some other stuff, though. Now, call a spade a spade. That's a car bombing, right? Based on reports from CNN sources, the explosion of the Cybertruck in Las Vegas involved the use of explosives such as fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel. Authorities suspect that they were part of the detonation system that was managed by the driver. So again, they're saying the driver probably set this off. Here's some of this.
That source also revealed what was inside the truck, explosives that included fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel. And authorities believe that that was connected to a detonation system controlled by the driver. We're also hearing this same sentiment from Elon Musk, who tweeted out that they have now confirmed that the explosion was caused by very large fireworks and or a bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck and is unrelated to the vehicle itself. So he was clear to say that this was not an issue with the Cybertruck. And the sheriff also earlier said that they are checking for secondary devices. They're investigating many different leads, but he was clear to say that there does not appear to be any further threat to the Las Vegas community.
And Musk also talked about how really the Cybertruck is the worst truck to try to do a car bomb with because of the stainless steel being so strong as it is. It actually shielded most of the blast internally and thusly kept it from being as bad as it could have been. Now, the Cybertruck was used intentionally. We all know this. It was done in front of a Trump Tower with the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck is the one that Musk drives around in all the time. He's always in the Cybertruck, mostly because it's one of the safest vehicles as far as armor is concerned. So, yes, we finally did get more information about the Cybertruck once they finally got the fire put out. Here's this.
Just a vehicle fire. And so there's going to be a drone video that plays to my left again. You'll see as the fire initially, they covered it with the tarp to try to get it to go out. Once the fire went out through the suppression efforts of the fire department, you'll see some of the evidence in the back of the vehicle. So those are gasoline canisters. They are camp fuel canisters and large firework mortars. What I also would like you to pay attention to on that video, as you see that, it looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there. The fact that this was a Cybertruck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were parked directly in front of. You can see that in the video there.
Yeah, so this was a pretty messed up situation that could have been significantly worse than it was. And so thank God that is how it played out. So we've got Elon Musk, I guess, gave some helpful information to the Nevada sheriff or the police there, and that was able to help them. We'll let them talk about that a little bit here.
Yes, actually, I have to thank Elon Musk specifically. He gave us quite a bit of additional information in regards to how the vehicle was locked after it exploded due to the force of the nature of the force from the explosion, as well as being able to capture all of the video from the Tesla charging stations across the country, and he sent that directly to us, so I appreciate his help on that. I'll take one more question.
So we did get some good, helpful stuff there. That was awesome of Tesla or Musk to do. Again, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police say they know the identity of the individual who rented the Cybertruck. We've got a lot of information that's come out. Check it out.
We do know who rented the truck. We are looking at that individual, but I am not prepared to release the name of any of the individuals that we are looking at least until next of kin is notified and we have a 100% identification. We do know who rented. But
they definitely figured out who it was, and we've got that right here. According to senior law enforcement sources, 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He was the driver and had several Colorado Springs addresses associated to him. Sources confirmed that he was driving the Cybertruck. Federal Bureau of Investigation is at a townhouse complex out in Colorado where he was supposedly at. We'll go ahead and play this a little bit. They talk about this some.
Multiple law enforcement sources confirmed to News 5 that a Colorado Springs man was the driver of the Cybertruck that exploded in front of the Trump International Hotel this morning in Las Vegas. They say 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger died inside the vehicle. El Paso County records show that Livelsberger has several addresses in our area, and they're now the focus of a federal investigation. FBI agents are at one of his addresses on the east side of the city. That's where we find News 5's Maggie Bryan, who's been there for hours. Maggie, what are you seeing?
Megan, this is about all we can see of this scene right now. I'll step out of the way. You can see some of those flashing lights behind me. Those are coming from a few law enforcement vehicles blocking off the entrance to this townhome complex. Now, this is near Stetson Hills Boulevard and Mark Shuffle Road on the east side of Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs police confirmed to us that FBI agents are here investigating this home. We have learned that Livelsberger is connected to this townhome. Senior law enforcement officials say he lived in Colorado Springs and was the driver of the Cybertruck. Our team has seen agents out here since about 7:30 this evening. We've also been back and forth to the Stetson Hills Police substation about 3 miles down the road, where we've seen a few armored vehicles in the parking lot there. We'll be out here talking with law enforcement and trying to get any more information we can tonight. For now, in Colorado Springs, I'm Maggie Bryan, News 5.
So yeah, a lot of crazy stuff is still coming out about this. I've got the Las Vegas bomber who blew up the Cybertruck outside of Trump Hotel, as cops say he served at the same military base as the New Orleans mass killer Jabbar. Served at the same military base. They are definitely connected. Whether these two knew each other or how they knew each other, don't know. This guy was a former Green Beret, and Special Forces at least is what they're calling it, but I believe it was Green Beret. Colorado townsman associated with Livelsberger was raided by ATF and all those guys. Law enforcement sources revealed that Livelsberger, who died Wednesday in the explosion outside the hotel, had previously served at the same military base as New Orleans terrorist Shamsuddin Jabbar. It just rolls off my tongue, doesn't it? The FBI had said does not think Jabbar 42 was solely responsible for the Bourbon Street attack. Authorities are conducting a number of court-authorized search warrants in New Orleans and other states and investigating this potential association. This is getting deeper and deeper. So Matthew Livelsberger, the individual connected to the bombing of the Cybertruck at Trump Tower in Las Vegas, is also seen in this particular image here, wearing a shirt with the "Glory to Ukraine" stenciled on it, or written in Ukraine red letters. So this guy was, well, he was on that side of the fence. That much we do know anyways. Bill Malugin posted this. A U.S. Army spokesperson confirmed to Fox News that the suspect in the Las Vegas truck explosion, Matthew Livelsberger, was an active duty Special Forces operations sergeant who was on leave from Germany, where he was serving with the 10th Special Forces Group. Curious about anybody within that group. Hopefully nobody within that group is corrupt, but I guarantee you they're looking into that. So we've got that came out. Now, what is funny is how hard the federal government has tried to work at proving, or saying, I should say, that there is no link between these two guys. Zero. No link whatsoever. Do you believe them? I don't believe them.
I want to be clear on. We do not assess at this point that anyone else involved in this attack is involved in this attack except for Shamsuddin Jabbar, the subject you've already been briefed on. Don't want to be clear.
Even though we're reasonably sure that's not true, but yeah, we'll see again how long it took them to change their minds. Paul Sperry posted this. FBI, no definitive link between Jabbar Livelsberger, who both used Turo app. So they both used the same app to rent the trucks, the Turo app. They both weaponized vehicles. They both had improvised explosive devices. They both struck on the holiday. They both targeted tourist towns. They were both similar ages, 42 and 37. Both were Army. Both were stationed at Fort Bragg. Afghanistan tours. Both anti-Trump Democrats. Both on suicide missions. And yes, they both donated to the Democrat Party. Of course, it's always the people on the right that are the dangerous ones, right? Feds probe possible military link between suspects in Bourbon Street massacre and Trump Hotel cyber security blast. I've got two law enforcement sources familiar with the New Orleans truck terror ramming attack and the Las Vegas incident, and they told NBC News that federal investigative teams are probing a potential military connection between the two individuals involved in both attacks. Yeah. What do you make of the fact that Shamsuddin Jabbar, 42, was an American citizen born in Texas who served in the U.S. Army for many years and posted a message on social media that he was inspired by ISIS? And then, of course, we've got the Daily Mail confirmed that the Las Vegas Cybertruck terrorist was Matthew Livelsberger and that he previously had served at the same military base as the New Orleans terrorist. Yeah, again, no connection whatsoever, even though we've been doing some digging and found exactly that. FBI hostage rescue team call sign aircraft seems headed to New Orleans. The quick reaction team is always on 4-hour readiness to move. Considering when attack took place, looks like they are moving en masse with all gear. Good sell hunting, I guess. And then former CIA officer warns 1,000 plus Al-Qaeda fighters in U.S. for the next homeland attack. Now, the CIA is a funny little connection here, and we're going to get to it at a certain point where Donald Trump makes a statement, and he specifically calls out the CIA to help. But I don't think that's exactly what they're doing. I think they're calling out who is behind this. Now, I can't say that because, well, that would just be a whole slew of problems. Now, one thing, and it's just stated in here. There's zero evidence, zero proof, nothing along those lines. It's just stated. So I don't know exactly whether it's true or not. But per the Gateway Pundit, which is just known for being stellar, being so sarcastic, and again, I like them. They're okay. I like what they try to do. But supposedly, this guy had made a trip to the pro-jihad Muslim Brotherhood Mosque in North Houston, which we're going to talk about. But supposedly he recently traveled to the Brotherhood headquarters in Cairo, Egypt. We have zero anything backing that. I don't know how they know he recently traveled to the Brotherhood headquarters in Cairo. I don't know how they know that. They don't give anything. Who did Jabbar meet with in Cairo? I don't know. Apparently they know all this stuff. I don't know how they know. Whatever. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. We'll see if we ever get more information to prove otherwise. Now, something else was happening out in Vegas. That they're currently dealing with an individual who had barricaded themselves in a bus. Remains uncertain whether this is tied into anything. I don't think there's a lot in this video. So, yeah, crazy people all over the damn place right now. Yeah. And even in New York, for that matter. We'll get there in a second. So FBI in Houston, this is where they were actually investigating this headquarters of the Muslim Brotherhood there in Houston, or North Houston specifically. But the FBI and the Harris County Sheriff's Office are currently conducting law enforcement activity near the intersection of Hugh Road and Crescent Peak Drive in North Houston. This was late yesterday. We have secured a perimeter in the area and are asking people to avoid the area. FBI Houston personnel and specialized teams will be on site for several hours. This activity is related to this morning's New Orleans attack, but due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, no further information has been given to us. Here is a drone footage of them basically arresting somebody there, or at least getting them to put their hands up. I don't think anyone was arrested. They did do some pretty solid checks on what was going on, at least at these particular facilities. Don't know if they took anything out with them. I don't believe there were any arrests, but needless to say, here's a little bit of video. Oh, has he got a knife? What is the thing in his other hand? That's weird. There's his phone. Oh, he's just holding up his jacket. I see. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that movie Sicario. I think it was the second one. It was his first one. There's a point where he has this dude spin around one of the higher ups in the cartels. Yeah, it's pretty severe. That's a big deal. So yeah, they are definitely trying to figure out who, what, where, when, why, and how. Paul Sperry posts again, CT investigators tell me that they're following leads. The Bourbon Street terrorist was radicalized at a pro-jihad Muslim Brotherhood mosque in North Houston that actively converts inmates inside the Texas Department of Corrections. Jabbar recently traveled to the Brotherhood headquarters in Cairo. Again, don't know how these people know it, but everyone's sharing that as if it's fact. Maybe it is. Again, always trips me out when we don't have any real evidence to suggest why we're saying that, but it is what it is. The Houston mosque, possibly attended by the New Orleans terrorist, has advised its members not to cooperate with the FBI without consulting CARE, a group with radical ties. It's crucial that we stay united at this time. We have literal terrorist cells inside this country that are operating against the own interests of this country. Now, this never got as out of hand as it was intended to. Biden was supposed to have another 4 years. I can only imagine how much worse it would have been. Can you imagine how even worse it would have been if Hillary Clinton would have won instead of Trump the first time? All of this is played out exactly as it was supposed to, in the big picture anyways. FBI completes search of the location in northern Houston in connection with the New Orleans attack. Law enforcement searched the location. It started yesterday. At approximately 7:50 a.m., FBI Houston and Harris County Sheriff's Office concluded a court-authorized search and cleared the 1200 block of Crescent Peak Drive. Officials said there's no threat to residents in the area. Authorities did not provide details on why that area was searched, but earlier said the activity was related to the New Orleans attack. The suspected driver of the van that plowed through the crowd on Bourbon Street yesterday was from Texas. It wasn't a van, it was a truck. It was a Ford Lightning. I don't know why they chose that word. The search of the area in Crescent Peak Drive resulted in no arrests and saw the FBI deploy its SWAT teams, crisis negotiators, and special agent bomb technicians, and a group of counterterrorism investigators. Again, nothing really came from it, it seems, at least yet. Paul Sperry posting this. Federal records reveal the anti-Trump wife of the suspect who detonated the Cybertruck outside of the Trump Hotel in Vegas donated cash to the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee around the same time as the Bourbon Street terrorist donation to the DCC as well. So, yeah, they're connected again in that regards. That's kind of a trip. Now, separate weird stuff that also happened. A shooting incident happened out in Queens at a nightclub, the Amazura nightclub in Queens. Reports have emerged of a shooting. I believe 11 individuals have been confirmed shot within the club. Situation still developing. This was as of last night. So, yeah, a bunch of people died, a bunch of people shot. Horrible stuff going on all over the damn place right now. We've also got this craziness going on in Manhattan. The PAL Youth Movement protest is continuing marching to shut down busy streets in Manhattan, demanding no business as usual during an ongoing genocide. So we literally have pro-terrorist sympathizers marching through the streets in New York. We've got nightclubs being shot up. We've got people driving cars through crowds of people. We've got people parking Cybertrucks and hoping to blow up Trump Tower. We've got so much weird stuff going on. So again, multiple people shot. I don't know if they gave us a total of 8 who were shot. I think it's actually gotten worse as the time progressed. I don't think we had total number of victims to 11. So 11 people were killed, I guess. 6 gunshot victims were there shortly after 8 gunshot victims were counted. Police confirmed there was an additional 3 shooting victims. So yeah, apparently 11 total victims have been shot out there at that nightclub. So messed up. So very messed up. Bomb squad clears suspicious car near the Capitol after a man was driving on the sidewalk. I don't know if we want to play this whole thing. We'll see. We'll see how good it is.
After reports of a suspicious vehicle in Northwest, officers are on the scene near Constitution Avenue and 3rd Streets. That's where we find News 4's Joseph Olmo, who joins us live now with what we know so far and sort of where you are, Joseph, in relation to where that suspicious vehicle is.
Hey, Erika, good morning. So this is all very much developing, happening within not even the past hour. In fact, U.S. Capitol Police tweeted about this at 10:12. It's 11:01. So again, this hasn't even been going on for 60 minutes now. Let me step out of the way, show you where we are. This is the west side of the Capitol, where it meets with the National Mall. So this is still on the Capitol complex, the Capitol grounds. You see a bunch of ambulances, police lights. We saw some fire trucks pull up to the scene as well. All we can tell you for sure, and this is coming from U.S. Capitol Police, is that they are investigating a suspicious vehicle in the area of Constitution Avenue and 3rd Street. So yeah, we are close to Union Station and of course the west side of the Capitol. Just moments ago, about 17 minutes ago, Capitol Police tweeted out that they are still investigating that suspicious vehicle. Now I want to show you some video that we have, guys. Do we have this video of somebody being brought into custody? Yeah, okay, so looks like we do have it. This was captured by our cameras just a couple moments ago. I want to stress we do not know if this is in connection to what we're seeing out here, but we did see somebody in handcuffs and being led into a vehicle by U.S. Capitol Police. Again, we have no confirmation right now that person has anything to do with what we're seeing out here. We are just off of the mall, Erika, on 3rd Street Northwest, and as you can see, if you guys can come back out here live, they have set up quite the perimeter right now. 3rd Street Northwest is completely closed to vehicular traffic all the way around the Capitol pretty much. If you are driving around this area, take precaution because you might not be able to get directly around the Capitol because of what we're seeing over here.
Now, supposedly the dude was driving on the sidewalk, and again, not sure what all is connected, not connected. I think we watched enough of that, frankly. FBI found 150 homemade bombs at a Virginia home during a search in December. Now, this isn't directly tied timing-wise. This was done, I think, a little earlier in the month. All said, this is another very, very strange piece of information. They found the largest stockpile of homemade explosives that they've ever seized when they arrested a Virginia man on firearms charges last month. Investigators seized more than 150 pipe bombs and other homemade devices when they searched the home of Brad Spafford, northwest of Norfolk, in December. Now, you've got to kind of wonder if any of these people, because we had a bunch of IEDs with these 2 individuals, and there's this story. Again, we've got, it seems, some homegrown terrorists in this country, or, well, homegrown likely and probably imported. A nice mixture of both, it would seem. Now, again, not sure if there's any connection here. Don't know exactly what this story is about, but it's too coincidental not to include in this particular part of my newscast, if you will. But at my direction, this is Jessica S. Tisch. She is at New York PD PC. What is the PC part? Whatever it is. At my direction, the Internal Affairs Bureau of the New York City Police Department is working with law enforcement authorities to investigate allegations against former Chief of Department Jeffrey Madry. Madry was suspended from the department this morning as law enforcement agents executed search warrants at several locations, including his residence. Any further inquiries about this matter should be directed to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. Good old SDNY. That's where all the weird stuff goes to die. Just might be coincidence. Of course, this is where probably the jurisdiction of this particular crime anyways, but Always very curious whenever anything shows up over at SDNY, because we almost never hear about it once it gets inside the Venus flytrap of secrecy. Biden, I hate to play it. I'm going to, just because it's quote-unquote our president talking. It's the biggest waste of 2 minutes and 40 seconds of your life that you're probably going to experience today, I hope, is the biggest waste of your time, and I apologize for doing that. But this was Biden's address for what happened. And did he help further anything? No. Did he teach us anything that we haven't literally figured out on our own? No. Has he been helpful in any way, shape, or form? No. Thanks, Biden.
Oh, I can speak for all Americans when I say our hearts are with the people of New Orleans after the despicable attack that occurred in the early morning hours. To all the families of those who were killed, to all those who were injured, to all the people of New Orleans who are grieving today, I want you to know I grieve with you. Our nation grieves with you. We're going to stand with you as you mourn and as you heal in the weeks to come. I want to thank our brave first responders and law enforcement personnel who stopped the attacker in his tracks before he could kill or injure even more people. And I want to thank you to everyone at the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, including the FBI, for working nonstop to investigate this heinous act. The FBI is leading the investigation to determine what happened, why it happened, and whether there was any continuing threat to public safety. Here's what we know so far. The FBI has reported to me the killer was an American citizen, born in Texas. He served in the United States Army on active duty for many years. He also served in the Army Reserve until a few years ago. The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby. The situation is very fluid, and the investigation has a preliminary stage. And the fact is that right now, there you go. The law enforcement and intelligence community are continuing to look for any connections, associations, or co-conspirators. We have nothing additional to report at this time. The investigation is continuing to be active, and no one should jump to conclusions. I've directed my Attorney General, the FBI Director, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the head of the National Counterterrorism Center, and the intelligence community to work on this intensively until we have a full and complete information. And once we have that information, I will share that information as soon as we can confirm it.
You gonna let us know that he voted for you? I'm just curious, because that would be funny and useful information, because you guys are always so quick to tell us when it's the other way around. Senator Hawley is urging a panel to call Mayorkas and Ray to testify in the wake of the attack with the new group of people in Congress before Trump takes office and this guy has a chance to quit. We'll see if that actually happens. I like Hawley and all, but I don't know, he just seems so ineffectual usually. He's just always on the outside saying stuff like, oh, here's a good idea that, yeah, you should be more involved. But whatever the case is. It seems the Senate has a harder time kind of doing things that are useful than, say, the House does. U.S. Capitol Police officers just responded to the area of Constitutional Avenue on 3rd Street. Yeah, the suspect vehicle. We talked about that already. Dan Scavino Jr. said 19 days. I actually think we're at 18 days now. Yes, 18 days now. So no mercy to terrorists, you dumb bastards, was a post that Donald Trump had put out. Feels that's pretty good. That's a mean tweet. Well, he's talking to terrorists. You okay with that? Or do you think he should be more respectful to terrorists? Anybody that does, you're a dumb bastard. How about that? Yeah. So President Trump truthed this out. Our country is a disaster, a laughingstock all over the world. This is what happens when you have all open borders with weak, ineffective, and virtually non-existent leadership. The DOJ, FBI, and Democrat state and local prosecutors have not done their job. They are incompetent and corrupt, having spent all of their waking hours unlawfully attacking their political opponent, me, rather than focusing on protecting Americans from outside and inside violent scum that has infiltrated all aspects of our government and our nation itself. Democrats should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this to happen to our country. This is that thing I talked about earlier. The CIA must get involved now before it is too late. Very strange statement. Does Trump trust the CIA? Probably not. Why is he calling this out? That is the million-dollar question, or really today's inflation, that's the billion-dollar question. The USA is breaking down. A violent erosion of safety, national security, and democracy is taking place all across our nation. Only strength and powerful leadership will stop it. See you on January 20th. Make America great again. A lot of questions how this January 20th transfer of power actually occurs, or if it does, or whatever. We'll see. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, so I'm certainly not going to make any prognosis. But we are going to see some craziness continue to happen before. Again, DRSlikesgold.com, folks. DRSlikesgold.com. Sticking around and waiting for them to make their move is only going to be bad for those who wait. Donald Trump truth this as well. With the Biden open borders policy, I said many times during rallies and elsewhere that radical Islamic terrorism and other forms of violent crime will become so bad in America that it will become hard to even imagine or believe. That time has come, only worse than ever imagined. Joe Biden is the worst president in the history of America, a complete and total disaster. What he and his group of election-interfering thugs have done to our country will not be soon forgotten. And, of course, MAGA. Always a strong way to finish that off. Joe Biden is bestowing the second highest civilian medal on Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson, the two biggest traitors that we're aware of within the January 6th committee. The lawmakers who led the congressional investigation into the violent January 6th Capitol riot. Biden will award the Presidential Citizens Medal to 20 people in a ceremony Tuesday at the White House, including Americans who fought for marriage equality, a pioneer in treating wounded soldiers, and two of the president's longtime friends, former Senators Ted Kaufman and Chris Dodd. President Biden believes these Americans are bonded by their common decency and commitment to serving others. It's just it's hilarious that they can even say these things. The country is better because of their dedication and sacrifice. 100% don't agree, but whatever. Declassified with Julie Kelly. Let's see. No thanks. Okay, yeah. What was this? Why did I pull this? Oh, yeah, House report discloses new information on the unsolved J6 pipe bomber. They still, again, just the point is they still haven't figured out who the hell it was. And this thing went cold in 2021. They just gave up on it. Why? Probably because they figured out who it was, or it was an FBI informant, or it was somebody along those lines. And so they just wanted it to go away. They could figure out if you were anywhere near the Capitol, but they can't figure out this individual, right? He had a cell phone and everything else. It's just absolute insanity. So, I don't know. I didn't want to spend a whole crap ton of time on it. They didn't really bring anything new to the table. It was just basically giving crap to the fact that they still don't know. And it went cold immediately after because obviously it didn't serve the purpose that they were hoping it would. House Rules package raises threshold to remove the speaker, so they did put this through to make it harder to remove the speaker. This vote is supposed to be coming here any day. I'm not 100% sure the exact day. I don't know when exactly, but it will be very shortly, and I believe before the 20th. Trump basically is saying, look, he's going to get back in. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I like Johnson. I think Johnson's done an admirable job, all things considered. I think people that expect him to do more radical stuff just really, truly do not understand how the House works, but two, how Speaker of the House works. He would have gotten destroyed if he did any of the things that the more radical MAGA side of us would push for. And at the same time, I think he's done way more than like Kevin McCarthy type people. So we'll see. It is a weird fine line that this man has to walk. He's also an extraordinarily spiritual individual, and I think that's also super helpful. So again, I like Johnson. I'm going to continue to support Johnson. Trump has outwardly supported Johnson, so I support who Trump supports right now. That's it. I'm not second guessing anything Trump is doing at the moment. Nothing at all. I could care less. I don't care what anybody says. And I'll fall on whatever stupid sword they want to put in front of me. It's okay. I'm all right with it because we will still ultimately, I'm going to keep moving forward until one of these guys does something outwardly that really makes sense. So far, I've heard a lot of speculation that's been just people couch quarterbacking, for lack of a better term. GOP demands Senate confirm Trump's national security team as soon as possible after the New Year's Day attacks. That's kind of a cool way for us to try to, I guess, take advantage of this chaos, right? That's like they always do whenever there's any sort of chaos. You've got to instantly try to take advantage of it and spin it in a way that benefits you. So at least we are. They can't exactly take away guns in this case because nobody used guns. Explosives are already illegal, and it's already illegal to hit people with cars, which again is kind of a good Democrat move. They're the ones that typically like to run over people with cars. That's at least statistically been the case. A lot of fun there, right? So yeah, they're going to try to see if they can get somebody in to protect us a little bit faster than before. We got a couple Trump stories here. Trump is going to hold a D.C. rally on January 19th, the day before his inauguration. He's literally going to have a rally out in D.C. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know how good it'll be, but it'd probably be fantastic. The expectation is they can hold about 20,000 attendees at the Washington Capitals hockey arena or the Wizards basketball arena, whichever. They both play there, I guess. So that will be happening. I'm sure that will be televised, and that'll be kind of cool too. So, or it would be not televised, but well, it might be, but it'll certainly be on the Right Side Broadcasting and a number of other places probably. So make sure you're watching it when that gets there, when we get there. Biden's preparing to issue a decree to permanently ban new offshore oil and gas development in some of the U.S. coastal waters. He's going to be doing it with an executive order. So no matter what, Trump can de-executive order it. I mean, so I don't know. This is stupid. You can't make an executive order that's locked in that you can somehow not executive order out of. Executive orders are just kind of, that's how they are, and presidents can change them. So anything that he does will be symbolic at best, and whether or not he's able to pull it off will be secondary. So whatever, we'll see what continues to happen, but he's just trying to make it difficult for Trump. That much we know. China has declared a state of emergency as the epidemic overwhelms hospitals and crematoriums. Here we are. We're back to it again. Back to it again, folks. The pandemic is coming. It's kind of technically here. I don't think they're doing the noise or getting the noise, and I don't think they're going to be able to. But we are seeing the exact same repeat playbook that they did back in Trump's last year. So we'll see. I will say this, folks. Get out of their process. Stop relying on them. Go to twc.health. That's twc.health. /OTF, twc.health/OTF, and take advantage of the wellness company's incredible product lines. Supplements and all that. They've got this great spike support, and they've also got stuff that'll help keep your immune system high. They've got a whole bunch of very, very cool supplements. So if you're into trying to get better energy and sleep, your immune system and detox, heart and health, kids natural products, we got bone and joint support. They've got everything in there. Seriously, peruse their supplements section. And for those of you that are even remotely worried about whether or not they're going to get you with some sort of COVID or whatever, highly recommend the Contagion Emergency Kit. They've got all sorts of great med kits, emergency kits, medical kits, travel kits. They're incredible. These kits have everything you need. They've got medicines. They're actually prescribed to you, so that's partially why there's a bit of a price to them. But they've also got amazing amounts of medications that are extraordinarily helpful. And the reason I love the Contagion Kit specifically is because it is literally an antiviral kit. Where the hell? There it is. It's got 25 tablets of ivermectin. It's got 20 tablets of hydroxychloroquine. It's got 12 tablets of generic Z-Pak, or the azithromycin. It's also got 10 tablets of Tamiflu, or which is the generic Tamiflu, I should say. It's also got Pulmicort, which is an anti-asthma type medication that helps open up your airways, your upper respiratory. This literally was one of the things that I was actually nervous about. I coughed so hard at one point, I literally thought I was maybe not going to make it. Fortunately, it didn't take too long. I did a couple nice deep breaths and was able to get myself back to not panicking. But they've got the nebulizer, and you get 5 vials. So God forbid something happens in your upper respiratory, you've actually got the ability to kind of open up those airwaves and give yourself a chance. So highly, highly, highly recommend this Contagion Kit. Go to twc.health/OTF, twc.health/OTF. If, one, this kit is per person, that's what they say, it's what they recommend. I actually think you can squeeze 2 people out of this one. But, and here's the beautiful part, if you use it within 2 years of buying it, they'll do a refill for a significantly reduced price. So keep that in mind. And again, if there's two of you and one of you has to go through this, just understand you can get a refill for a lowered price, and it might actually help bump up your overall numbers if you think about it. All said, go to twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF. They've also got virtual care. They've got trying to get off of your prescriptions. They've got memberships for wellness and all this different stuff, managing your prescriptions. They've got all sorts of resources. This is Dr. Drew Pinsky, Dr. McCullough, and apparently 3 other doctors in there. It's a whole lot of really, really good people that have come together. And there's a huge number of doctors actually across the nation that are helping with this process and this project. It's an amazing company, the Wellness Company. They're seriously doing it right, and they're kind of taking the control away from pharma and all those guys and putting it back into your hands. Go to twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF, and make sure you take precautions to take care of yourself and your family. We got another ESG rat jumps ship. Morgan Stanley has quit the Net Zero Banking Alliance ahead of Trump 2.0. This is fantastic. We've got a few of these banks. Citi and Bank of America have also abandoned these stupid paths of this ESG nonsense. Morgan Stanley being the next one to go, which is great. That's great news. It's interesting that some of these companies are some of the worst. Bank of America I just despise, but whatever the case is, it is what it is, like I like to say. We've got the Finland, I guess, has imposed some sort of travel ban on the crew of the Russian ship that they're accusing of slicing the cable. They're saying this Russian ship was dragging its anchor intentionally in order to cause damage to these undersea lines. Whether that's true or not, don't know. I mean, maybe. It seems like such a stupid way to do it, though, but who knows? That's possible. But they're actually going to do some investigations into the ship, see if they can figure out whether it did what it did. I'm sure computers would suggest that it dropped its anchor and then tried to drive with it on, or sail with it on or down. So whatever the case is, we'll find out. They're going to blame Russia no matter what, but it is moving forward, I guess. And finally, just to cover some of the Jimmy Carter crap, his funeral is scheduled in Georgia and Washington, D.C. So Saturday, the Carter family is going to be part of a motorcade that goes first to Atlanta for a stop at the state capitol, and then on to the family home in the Plains. On Sunday and Monday, the former president will lie and repose at the Carter Center in Atlanta. On Tuesday, the family travels to the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C., where the president will lie in a state in the Capitol Rotunda. The public will be allowed to pay their respects starting at 7 p.m. Tuesday evening. On Wednesday, President Carter will lie in a state at the U.S. Capitol before being transferred on Thursday to the Washington National Cathedral for a funeral service. Later in the day, the former president will take his last trip home to be buried at the Carter family home in Georgia. So, again, Carter, not the best president by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly a nice man. And like Trump said, he actually really did care about this country. He just wasn't very good at being a leader and made some pretty big blunders. And also, as we've come to find out, got very, very heavily involved with foreign policy that he shouldn't have, and certainly made some very bad claims or statements about how people should essentially sell out the United States and the Middle East. Carter did a lot of really, really horrible stuff. But again, the man's passed away, and I wish him and his family all the blessings, all the prayers, and I am sorry for your loss. I'm sure as a grandpa, Carter was a wonderful, wonderful man. And yeah, my heart goes out to everybody that loses anybody in their family. We got a lot going on, folks. We got a great music show coming tomorrow, and we're going to keep rocking and rolling news-wise. The deep state's going to keep trying hard, and we'll see how these things continue to play out. Stand strong, keep your head on a swivel, and understand we are not out of the woods yet, folks. Be strong. I love you. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.